Everybody. My name is Dr. Greg Evans. I'm a professor with the University of Maryland Global Campus. I teach in the Graduate School of Business. So I did a small study on the perception of artificial intelligence and the future of education. So the idea is the future of artificial intelligence, it's impacting everything. My students, my colleagues, everybody wants to know, is this going to replace my job, and what is the future? So I focused on this. Very famously at last year's Google Town Hall, the CEO stated that AI is the most important thing that humanity has ever worked on. And since I've been following this, it piqued my interest and then some. Also, Mark Zuckerberg stated last year that now Instagram will show twice as much AI recommended content by the end of this year. Elon Musk also famously said the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. So we have a lot of information on social media about AI and what it is. There are many, many benefits. These are just a few. Obviously, no human error. It's available 24/7. It's unbiased. It can make quicker decisions. There's less risk. It's already being used in healthcare applications and other industries. And you can manage the mundane recurring tasks. Max Tegmark, MIT professor, talks about we accept AI when we don't know we're using AI, and it just becomes part of our life. And we think we're aware of AI all around us because it's of a future robotic existence. But if you use Google Maps, if you use Google Translate, you're already actively using AI in your daily life. I added just a few other, you may be familiar with some of these. Turnitin is a plagiarism checker that we use in academia. This is a picture of the Mars rover using AI. Anytime you get on a plane, every plane now has autopilot, which is AI. Job search engines, Pokemon Go. This is a Makeup Genius app that uses AI. The Internet of Things is everywhere. This box represents, they use it in weather forecasting. On the right lower part, they're using it in medical detection. They're saying that it can actually detect cancer more accurately than human beings can. And the future of AI, of course, in using robo-judges, where right now we're limited in the judicial system based on what the judges and the lawyers understand of the law. If you have an AI judge, it will know all the law that's ever been, and it won't rely on human error or memory. So, and also famously, driverless cars are a thing. These are some projections of what the future may look like in transportation with driverless trucks. And this is actually on the bottom right. This is actually a shuttle bus that's currently used in Las Vegas. It doesn't have a driver. It goes from the airport to the hotel. However, it only takes one route. It can't just meander around and go alternate ways due to traffic, but it's already being used. In Japan, where I currently work, the government is actually making this illegal. As of March last year, they said the central government on Friday adopted a bill to revise the road traffic law that would legalize delivery robots and driverless cars by the end of March 2023. So it's happening, it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. If you use social media, you can post a photo on Facebook. AI will recognize and recommend the ideal swimsuit type for you based on your body type, which enables ads to be micro-targeted to every of all the billion users of Facebook. So it's already happening. In the US, from our US perspective, almost 70% of college graduates believe that AI could take their job. So it's an important issue that's coming, whether we want it to or not. So this was the question, will AI replace people? Google Translate is great at languages and is getting better all the time, but it doesn't understand what it's saying. So the premise of my paper is how will we use this? Obviously, we can't address everything in AI, so I focused on higher education. I designed a questionnaire. It was 10 attitudinal questions using SurveyMonkey. It was conducted in July to August of 2022. I marketed it using LinkedIn. No reward or incentive was offered for participating, and all responses were confidential, anonymous. And the possible responses for standard surveys, strongly agree, neither disagree nor disagree, disagree, and strongly disagree. So 2 questions had very positive responses. So 75% believe that AI will change the way education is delivered in the next 5 years, and that AI will save me time in the next 5 years. I use the 5-year time frame because I didn't want, if it's too short, if it's next year, nobody believes that their job will be impacted in 1 year, but more than 5 years is too far away. So anyway, so some very positive responses on this question. 3 questions, the answers were all evenly distributed. AI will create a higher quality education. AI will increase student recruitment, and AI will increase student retention. So those responses on the attitudes towards AI were evenly dispersed. 1 question was completely 50-50, and that I believe AI will help do my job better in the next 5 years, where 50 don't agree and 50 don't. So the jury, public opinion is still out. 3 questions were negatively skewed towards disagree. AI will create significant cost savings. AI will increase revenue, and AI will save me money. So they don't believe that it's going to have that impact in the near term. And then this is the one finding which had very strong negative responses. More than any other question was, again, back to the question, will I be replaced by a robot? So I believe my job will be replaced by AI in the next 5 years. 88% disagree. We could have an open discussion and see that AI is going to replace jobs, but nobody believes it's going to replace their job, understandably so. So this study obviously had some limitations. The results are informational at best. It was a small sample size. There's no definitive conclusions. The goal is that I will conduct this study annually. So I will repeat this study in 2023 to begin to establish a trend. And again, an important takeaway is that all the respondents were interested in the future of AI in their industry. So again, will it replace people? The question of whether AI will replace workers assumes that AI and humans have the same qualities and abilities, but they don't. Machines are fast, more accurate, and consistently rational, but they are not intuitive, emotional, or culturally sensitive. And it's these abilities that humans possess that makes us effective. The leadership challenge is to anticipate what AI means in relationship to how humans think and act, and to integrate these technologies ambitiously and strategically into our organizations. So again, the humans will lead how we're going to incorporate this new technology. This, I would argue, is going to be the new diversity. We've all understand that the diversity is extremely important in the workplace and education everywhere we go, but the future will be how humans and non-humans work together. And thank you very much. And then I have a list of references, and that is it.
Good afternoon all. My name is Nisha. I'm doing my PhD in Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, Trivandrum, India. So my presentation topic is study of gasochromic hydrogen sensing properties of nanostructured platinum doped tungsten oxide films prepared by salt gel method. Sorry.
Is everything okay, ma'am?
Actually, I'm not able to change my.
You can share it again.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So I'll be covering the topics like introduction to gas sensors, different types of gas sensors, then transition metal oxide based sensors, importance of hydrogen detection, gasochromic hydrogen sensing, then all the sensing as well as characterization details. So basically a sensor is nothing but a physical device which will give a stimuli or response to some input stimuli, like some variation in the environmental conditions, like pressure or temperature. So for example, for a gas sensor, the input stimuli could be different gases or gas concentration. So based on that concentration or different gas types of gases, it will give a electrical signal as the output. So gas sensors not only are useful in different industries and to detect hazardous gases as well as in environmental monitoring, but these days they are also finding importance in medical field. For example, by doing some breath tests, we can detect some gut infections and even some cardiovascular diseases. Because the human breath will contain some volatile organic components like acetone and isoprene. So by detecting low concentrations of these volatile organic components, we can also detect some health conditions, mainly for cardiovascular diseases as well as for gut infections. And also, other than that, even in coal mines to detect methane gas sensors are useful. So when we go look for gas sensors, the main qualities we are requiring are miniaturization of the gas sensors, and there could be a need to detect multiple gases at a time. So we may have to use gas sensor arrays, or in some conditions, it should detect only one gas. But there are some issues with the commercially available gas sensors. For example, a methane sensor may also detect other gases like carbon monoxide, ammonia, or hydrogen. So there, as per our requirements, we may need either multi-gas detection or detecting a single gas. And they should use low power and give fast response and recovery. So these are some type of commercially available gas sensors, and some are mainly used in laboratory for analytical methods. For example, calorimetric based gas sensors, where the target gases will be burned, and depending on the flame detected, these gases will be detected. Mainly in chemical laboratories and all they are used. And in optical based detection, a change in the transmittance will be detected in the presence and absence of the target gas. Then in case of electrochemical gas sensors, based on the chemical reactions happening between the sensing electrode and the gas, the corresponding gas will be detected. Also, there are acoustic type of gas sensors used, where the sensing material used is nothing but a piezoelectric material, and in the presence and absence of the gas to be detected, the ultrasonic the resonance of the piezoelectric material will change, and based on that the gas will be detected. But the problem with this type of detection is the instruments used here are very bulky, and they are highly expensive, and expert is required to handle them. So we cannot install them in industries for a continuous monitoring to detect any gases or any gas leakage. Among this, only metal oxide semiconductor gases are highly efficient, and they are used to detect different flammable toxic gases, and they are mainly available commercially. So this is a comparison giving the properties or the response of different gas sensors for detecting hazardous gases. Among these, you can see the highlighted one, semiconductor metal oxide gas sensors. Their response is very good, whether it in terms of sensitivity, accuracy, or selectivity. They are giving a high performance when compared to other types of gas sensors. So they can replace all other types of gas sensors. But in spite of this, they do have some disadvantages. So let me explain the working principle of this metal oxide semiconductor gas sensors. Their main working principle is mainly based on measuring electrical resistance changes happening in the presence and absence of the target gas. The sensing material is nothing but a metal oxide. The sensing material is a metal oxide. When the target gas comes in contact with the sensing material, its electrical resistance will change. What exactly happening is, in the absence of the gas, there will be some adsorbed oxygen on the surface of the sensing material. So this surface of adsorbed oxygen, they will take some electrons from the sensing material, metal oxide, and they will form some ions like O minus, O2 minus, or O2 minus. But since they are taking the electrons from the semiconductor material, the resistance of the material will increase, conductivity decrease. When there is a target gas coming in contact with the material, what happens is they will react with the adsorbed oxygen. There will be some byproducts formed, and the oxygen will give back electron to the sensing material. So again, conductivity will increase and resistance will decrease. So based on this, the gas will be detected. So though they have high sensitivity and they give good response and recovery, and we can fabricate these metal oxide sensors at a low cost, there are still some disadvantages with this type of sensors, mainly cross sensitivity. So this type of sensors, they will not only detect one particular gas, they may give cross sensitivity to other gases as well. And also long-term stability is a problem. Other than that, the main issue with this STEM is they operate at very high temperatures. These chemical reactions are favorable at very high temperatures. So we need to connect a micro heater, and the sensors will operate at 400, 500 degrees Celsius. The problem is if we want to detect some flammable gases, say methane or hydrogen, in case if there are any electrical sparks involved, then there could be explosion. So it's not a good way to use metal oxide sensors based on electrical resistance. So instead, let me explain you the importance of hydrogen detection, as whatever the sensor I'm working on, it is mainly for selective detection of hydrogen. So as you all know, most of the countries are inventing in green energy, and hydrogen is one of the renewable sources of green energy. And the outcome or the combustion of hydrogen, it gives water as the byproduct. So it's a clean source of energy. And but the hydrogen is highly flammable, above 4% is highly flammable. So it is very important to detect hydrogen leakage during storage and transportation of hydrogen. Not only that, even to detect some lactose intolerance in babies, we can do hydrogen breath tests. So it finds importance in industries as well as in medical field. So if we go for electrical based resistance, what happens is if there are any electrical sparks involved, then it could lead to explosion, because hydrogen above 4% is highly flammable. So we are using sensing material as tungsten oxide. So it's a transition metal oxide which exists as hydrates of tungsten memesite, and it has several important electrical and optical properties. Mainly, it is a wide bandgap semiconductor and mainly used for its gas sensing properties. And it is a chromic material. We can reversibly change its transmittance either by exposing it to some UV radiation, or by increasing its thermal energy, or by giving some external voltage, or by exposing it to hydrogen gas. So when the transmittance of the tungsten oxide changes when exposed to hydrogen gas, it is called as gasochromic effect. It's a reversible effect. So when the hydrogen is exposed, its transmittance will decrease, and by exposing it to oxygen or atmospheric air, again, the initial transmittance will be attained. So this is a simple structure showing the gasochromic device. So one application of gasochromic materials is in developing smart windows, where there will be 2 layers of the gasochromic or transparent conductor. In between this, a gasochromic material such as tungsten oxide will be coated, and alternatively hydrogen and oxygen will be purged, so that the transmittance of the material will dynamically change. So important the application here is the importance of gasochromic mechanism is unlike electrical based measurement, here there are no electrical circuitry involved, only it's purely optical based measurement. So and also these type of sensors are highly selective. They can only detect hydrogen, not even to helium they are giving any cross sensitivity. So actually there are two models have been proposed to explain the working of gasochromic sensors. One is called the oxygen's vacancy model, that is due to the formation of oxygen's vacancies when the sensing material is exposed to hydrogen gas. They are saying that its transmittance is decreasing, but there are several loopholes associated with this model. So the mainly accepted model by all the researchers is called double ion insertion model. That is, as per this, whenever some cations like H plus, Na plus, or lithium, as well as some electrons are inserted into the tungsten oxide matrix, then its oxidation state will change. A stoichiometric tungsten oxide will be in 6+ oxidation. Whenever it is intercalated with some ions as well as electrons, its oxidation changes to 5+. So because of this redox reaction, its transmittance is changing. So like metal oxide semiconductors, there is also electrical resistance change happening. Along with that, transmittance change is also happening. So we are using these transmittance changes to detect the hydrogen gas. So this is how we have synthesized a tungsten oxide thin film based on sol-gel method, which is a very low cost method. And also we can develop large area films. So sodium tungstate dihydrate is used as the starting material, which is mixed with the Di water, and it is spin coated onto the glass substrate. Then as per the doping concentrations mentioned here, platinum will be doped onto this 5%, 1%, 2%, and 3%. This is optical sensing setup used, which has a photo detector, a UV visible NIR light source. So we are checking the transmittance in the range 300 to 1100 nanometer, and a customized optical chamber is used, which has a provision to keep our sample, that is tungsten oxide coated on glass substrate. And it also has inlet and outlet where we can alternatively purge the hydrogen gas and also synthetic air or oxygen, and another outlet through which the entered gas will go outside. And this chamber is connected to the photo detector and the light source through optical fiber cables. So this is the sensing results for all the 4 samples I have prepared: 0.5 weight percentage, 1 weight percentage of platinum, 2 weight percentage of platinum, and 3 weight percentage of platinum. So from what we have done is we have measured the transmittance changes, UV visible NIR range, and alternatively we have purged synthetic air and hydrogen. And during this duration, we have checked what is the transmittance changes happening. So when we compared the transmittance results of these 4 samples, we found that for tungsten oxide loaded with 2 weight percentage platinum, the transmittance change is obtained is maximum. It was around 22%, whereas for other two 0.5 and 1 weight percentage, the transmittance change was very less. This could be due to less number of platinum catalysts or the active sites available on the tungsten oxide surface. Here, the doping the material with the either platinum or palladium is very important, because they are called as hydrogenation catalysts. They will dissociate the hydrogen and they will make sure that the hydrogen will go into the tungsten oxide matrix. So since the loading is very less or the doping level is less, even their optical transmittance obtained is very less. Whereas for 3 weight percentage, it was almost compatible to 2 weight percentage loaded sample, but the problem is here the response whatever we observed, it was poor. And the other diagram, it shows dynamic response. So these are all taken at the total UV visible NIR range. Here we have taken one particular wavelength, that is at 650 nanometer, and we have done the dynamic response characterization. That is 5% for 5 minutes we will purge synthetic air, we will measure the transmittance. Then again for 5 minutes we will purge 4% hydrogen and we will check the transmittance. Alternatively, so we have plotted this. So what?
Sorry to interrupt. Could you finish fast, ma'am? There are other participants also waiting.
Okay. Just 1 minute, ma'am. So what reason we found is when we compare the X-space characterization of these four samples, what we found is for 2 weight percentage, the concentration of platinum oxide to platinum was very high. The concentration of platinum oxide formed was very high. So which actually facilitated the diffusion of hydrogen. Its catalytic activity was more compared to the other samples. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm Muhammad Hazri Mawarusli from Malaysia. Today I'll be presenting my paper, Readiness of Emergency Remote Learning Based on Internet Accessible, a case study in Malaysia. Okay, the introduction. The pandemic caused by the COVID-19 2 years back has resulted in emergency transition from traditional learning to online learning at all levels of education. This transition is referred as ERL, or Emergency Remote Learning. This study intends to assess students' internet accessibility levels and determine the types of assistance that are necessary for online learning activities. The findings provide some insights to higher education providers that may lead to more effective policies in the future. So the methodology, we conducted the study through online survey questionnaires. The respondents of this study all are from mechanical engineering students enrolled from semester 1 until semester 8 in University Teknologi Mara UiTM. There were 5 programs altogether conducted at the School of Mechanical Engineering. We used the convenience sampling technique. All students who registered for the particular semester were considered to be part of the survey. And the questionnaires were given to the respondent using the Google form shared through WhatsApp and Telegram platforms. Then the data was computed and analyzed using Microsoft Excel sheet. So this is the result that we got from the study. So altogether, we received a total of more than 3,000 respondents, mostly from Program A, which is the undergraduate bachelor degree, and from Program C, which is the master coursework. And responded by semester, as I mentioned earlier, all semesters students were taken into consideration, but the most respondents came from semester 5, all right, which is the highest percentage with 12.5%. The lowest percentage with 1.6, followed by 6.8, is from semester 2 and semester 8. Okay, semester 8 is when most students complete their final year project and may have fewer online coursework. That may be the reason. But altogether, semester 5 was the most. This is the result that we got. 89.2% of the respondents have at least 2 devices or gadgets for their online learning. A majority of 82% of them own 2 devices or gadgets, and less than 10% have more than 2 devices. These are some of the device gadget that they use: laptops, PC, iPad, smartphone, other devices. Out of the 3,470 respondents, 93% of them use smartphones, and 90% or 3,157 respondents use laptops. 142 respondents have iPads, and 315 respondents have their own personal computers, which comprises 4% and 9% of the total responses respectively. This may be due to the mobility and reliability functions of both smartphones and laptop access to the internet for ERL. Then for the available internet data plan, 99% of the respondents have an internet data plan. So this shows that their study during the ERL was not severely affected. 37% of the respondents have no limit of the data plan. However, 1% of them still consists of 31 respondents who do not have any internet data plan. Most probably, they use the public Wi-Fi provided in the public places. Then we also study on the questionnaire whereby the respondents were given options to choose more than one platform that is accessible during online learning. About 36.7 respondents have access to all 8 platforms as listed in the questionnaire. Only less than 1% had access to 1 or 2 platforms. In the questionnaire also, the respondents were asked if they need any specific support during online learning. So we have one question, which is an open-ended question, and they were allowed to give any answers. The results show that about 77.8% of the respondents did not need any specific support, but some of them gives this type of responses, whereby 45.1% say they need more quota of coverage for internet, 37% need financial assistance, 8.4% need a remark that they need guidance from the supervisors or the lecturers, 9.5% need moral support as hardly cope with online learning. All right, so this summarizes what I explained in the previous slide. Okay, the respondents also need money, not only to upgrade their internet data plan with better coverage, but also the speed. Because having been engineering students, they need to do drawing subject as well, such as CATIA and SolidWorks. Guidance and motivation score 8.4 and 9.5% respectively. Respondents suggested that it would be better if the lecturers could be recorded in advance, and then perhaps the students and lecturers could meet for an hour to discuss the content. This we regard as improvement for online learning in the later years if we need to do so. So as a conclusion, based on the findings of on the online survey, it can be stated that internet access and financial resources are the 2 forms of assistance needed the most during emergency remote learning. Although the students had access to an unlimited data plan, the internet connection was unacceptably poor and many locations lacked adequate services. In addition to internet access, financial assistance can be offered so that students can subscribe to a more comprehensive data plan. The study also revealed that the majority of students own smartphones and laptop notebooks. This shows a positive indicator of the readiness for emergency remote learning. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
So our paper is about a new vision-based method in measuring the object real size. And first, I want to talk about what is coordinate measuring system. A coordinate measuring machine or coordinate measuring system is a device applied in measuring the dimension of a physical object. The device is applied in checking the accuracy of delicately manufactured. In the past, these measuring devices were installed on mechanical robots, but they are now equipped with laser scanners, which is a technology used in various industries to determine the quality as well as to inspect and control the production process. The new measuring approaches are based on machine vision and are more flexible than the previous one. We measure the dimension of objects by applying the machine vision technique, which reduces the cost of measuring compared to the mechanical robot or laser scanners. To set up the measurement system and the imaging platform, the reference triangle as a reference object is fixed in a specific location on the imaging desk, where it can be seen below the target image in the 2D image. The camera also is set on a tripod placed in a specified position on the imaging platform, parallel to the object at a constant distance for all images. The object image is captured for 3 times from different angles. The proposed software receives this image and calculates the real size of the object and its output. To calculate the real size of each object, first the reference object, which is a reference triangle in our experiments, must be determined. And next, the dimensions of the reference objects will be applied in calculating the target object size. The reference object should have 2 important properties. The first is that we should know the exact real size of the object in a measurable unit. And the second is we should be able to easily detect this reference object in an image, either based on the placement of the reference object in image or from its appearance, like being a distinctive color or shape. After receiving the input image and converting it to the grayscale image, the double edge operator is applied to detect the site from the grayscale image. Following this, an area opening as a morphological operator is applied to remove all connected components, which means lines, and the areas of which are smaller than the predefined threshold. Consequently, the main lines of objects remain and the extra lines are removed. In this step, the lines must be highlighted, for which a top-bottom process is run on the first row to the last row. And all columns in every row are checked because the subject binary image has a margin of 0. It can be concluded that the first row is always black. In this top to bottom process, if 1 pixel is met, which is white, that pixel could be both the beginning point of the line detection and reference pixel. 8 pixels are checked around the reference pixel, which are either black, which means 0, or white, which is 1. If white, a line is drawn between the reference pixel and the white pixel, making the new white pixel the new reference pixel. And this process repeats in a recursive manner. And at the end, the whole image is swept and all polylines are detected. In this point, the detected polylines have many points or line segments. In this case, if there is a bias somewhere, it can be detected with a very small tolerance. If a line is not out of this threshold, it should be removed and replaced with a single line segment. For this method proposed by Schwangard, which takes a polyline that includes too many points, which means sublines, with a tolerance, and then it returns a simplified polyline is applied. In this step, the polygons may need to be simplified in corners, which cannot be done through polyline simplification. Therefore, the bone method is applied for polygon simplification. The 3 corners of the reference triangle are identified. Through the slope of the liner, it is determined whether the line is horizontal or vertical. With the slope of the line, the vertical and horizontal sides of the triangles are distinguished. Since the real dimensions of the reference object are known, the calibration rate is determined by comparing the actual size of the horizontal and vertical sides with the size obtained from the software. So now the points of the corner obtained in the previous step are converted into millimeters by applying this scale coefficient from pixels. And then by applying the equation that you can see here, the length of the line segment length is calculated. A triangle vertical and here you can see that an example of 3D object and related to the images here. The measurements are compared with the actual size of the object, and the measurement error is determined by up to 2 decimal places. In our proposed method, in the method proposed by Othman et al., a hypothetical rectangle is drawn around each object, and finally the length and width of the covering rectangle are reported as the object size. While in our proposed method, the length of each side is calculated separately. Keynes et al. Proposed a solution for estimating the object size from static image by applying one camera. In general, by analyzing the result of several experiments on different objects, it is concluded that the average error of our proposed method is less than 1.24% and is better than that of 2% obtained in Utman et al. And 10% obtained in Keynes et al. And this indicates that the outperformance of this proposed system versus its counterpart. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful presentation.
IoT, automotive, agriculture, environment, and also e-health. So nearly everything you can imagine can incorporate IoT services based on sensors. In all of these applications, sensors provide data collected from their direct environments, which will be usually transformed into location-based services. So that's why localization in wireless sensor networks is a very important feature for almost all operations of sensor devices. Then our concern was how to determine coordinates of a connected device. Many localization systems and algorithms already exist. Outdoor dedicated ones rely on exact measures and hence offer good precision, but they are not applicable for indoor environments because they are costly, they require constant broadband connection, and usually they involve important latency. So the solution was to define alternative indoor and offline localization algorithms. So we are concerned about indoor localization, and two methods are usually defined, are possible, either range-based or range-free methods. So in range-based methods, we are defining algorithms which are based on measuring or estimating distances or angles between different devices. Those methods suffer usually from the fact that they are complex to implement, they are noise sensitive, and they require additional dedicated devices to perform measures. But they usually offer good precision. Whereas range-free methods use connectivity information between nodes, such as for DVOF methods. They have low-cost operation, but they suffer from low precision. So our motivation during this work is to use range-free, well-known DVHop protocol for indoor localization because of its low complexity and low cost. So it is very simple to implement and to use within indoor environments. But we try to improve the precision of DVHop by integrating machine learning techniques. So for that, we will use artificial neural networks for data analysis, then for prediction. And we opt for these solutions because of the property of resistance to noise. And we will try to integrate artificial neural network to improve, as I said, the DVHop performances because DVHop is simple and it is a method that can work for less than 3 Ensure nodes. So here you have the general architecture of our proposal of or the general topology of the network that we are considering. So our work is based on two propositions or two novel methods. The first one, we incorporate artificial neural networks in DVHop. So we call that ANN-based DVHop. During the training phase, we construct a nonlinear cartography between estimated distances and real nodes position. Then in the localization phase, we use neurons to estimate position. For the second solution, we try to enhance even further the precision of DVHops by combining artificial neural networks with linear least square. During training phase, we always construct a nonlinear cartography between estimated distances and real nodes position. But in the localization phase, we use neural network and linear least squares to correct estimated positions. So after implementing our two new proposition using Python and Keras library, we performed the performance comparison between ANN-based DVHop, ANN plus LLS-based DVHop, and the originated DVHop. So we compared them based on the well-known metric average localization error. And for the first scenario, we try to study the impact of varying the number of answers on the performances of the three methods while using the parameters that you are seeing in this table. So as you can see through these figures, the precision of all methods increase when the number of answers is higher. So we can notice also that the two newly derived versions of DVHop improved the original DVHop performances, and that ANN plus LLS give the best performance. We also implemented a second scenario where our aim was to study also the impact of varying the nodes range on the performances of the three methods. And here we varied the transmission range of devices from 10 to 15 meters, and we noticed through the results that you can see through these two tables that with higher range, location error of all methods increase. But still, our proposed method and combined with the linear least squares keeps the lowest location error ratio, which means that it is always the best method to perform. So for conclusion, in our work, we try to adopt DVHop because it is low cost and low complexity solution for indoor localization. So it is very suitable for these type of environments. But DVHop, it is known that DVHop suffers from a low precision. So we try to design two machine learning based methods to enhance DVHop performances, and both incorporating artificial neural networks and also combining artificial neural networks with linear least squares based solution outperform basic DVHop. So the precision was enhanced by increasing answer numbers also. And we noticed also through our work that combining ANN plus LLS has always lower error ratio than using only artificial neural networks combined with DVHop. And that is with varying the answer numbers and also varying nodes range. So that is for our work. Thank you for your attention, and I'm waiting for your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Ihab Muhammad. I am a computer science teacher. I'm going to present for you today a software evaluation process model analysis of telecom network failure causes and impact on system health. Okay, this research paper have been conducted with cooperation with Dr. Mohammed Isam Malkawi at Jordan University of Science and Technology. Okay, let me don't take a long time. I will start directly with the background of this research. This research related with software engineering and software evaluation process in particular. Okay. First of all, an open question in software engineering to study and to understand why software system evolve over their lifetime in order to manage and control the evolution process of software system. So software evolution concern with software system series of changes that occur to the software system through their lifetime. In order to manage and to control this software system, also, just a moment. This change in development, maintenance, and upgrade of software system. Also, software engineers research have made big effort to understand why software system evolve over their lifetime. Okay. Usually, or in reality, software system evolve. This can be seen in developing from a new version to another version when a big or an open source software system evolve. So that means it's converted from one version to another version. The new software system or the new version of the software system usually may experience faults and error and sometimes failure. So here in this research, and therefore the main objective of this study is to measure the impact of failure causes in the evolution of software system in order to provide a model of software engineering or software evolution process in a manner to control and minimize the stabilization period through the software system lifetime. Also here, there are many efforts have been conducted by Dr. Paul Wernick and too many other researchers in software engineering, and they have provided a global software process model. Let's have a look to this global software process model. Here we have this ANT-based model. It's developed based on the global software process model. This model contains 16 participants, as you see here. Mutable tools, developer, project manager, all of them interact with each other over time or over the time of the software lifetime. For example, if we have a software system, this software system is able to be used for 7 or 10 years. Okay, over this time, many things can happen to this software system because all of these participants interact with each other over the time. Okay, here what we have done in our research, we done the following. We add and we refine the structure of ANT-based model based on Dr. Paul Wernick's work. Okay, and we add the following telecom network failure causes to the model structure: network failure, physical link failure, and so on, and many other participants. So mainly we have modified the structure of this model, of ANT-based model. And our methodology and what we have done in this research, we modify ANT-based model structure, then we add telecom network failure participant, then we simulate by using agent-based model simulation environment, which is ANT repass symphony. So we simulate and trace the behavior of these participants over the time in order to measure the impact on the health of system. Then we find out the result and validate the result to real world criteria. Okay, here we have the structure of ANT-based model. Here a part of ANT-based model structure with the new participant. This new participant as the following: application server issue, cyber security, all of them interact with each other over the time and affect the health of system evolution process. Okay. Here also, after we conduct the adding and we add the participant and we simulate them in the simulation model, we find the following important result: cybersecurity attack negative support. Here we give input to the model with negative impact from 0% to 100% to this participant to affect the health of system evolution process in order to find out any negative behavior or any negative impact from this participant over the time. So we find out the following. We found out the negative impact or negative support of cybersecurity affect the health of system. And the health of system never return back to its stable behavior. In reality, this kind of behavior could be to could be to many things, such as cyber attack happen to a system or to a network or to a device. It could damage the system. Also, it's affected the other participant in the model. So let's go now to the result. The result indicates that cybersecurity is a major influencer in network failure in real world. Also, if a project occurs from cybersecurity, it may lead to a network failure. Another important result we found it, according to the result, cybersecurity attack play essential role in software system failure, especially unsecure and faulty software system. Here the idea behind similar failure, it can be unsecure or faulty system and so on. Another important result we found it is the effect of application server issues in the system health evaluation process also is rare. Thank you for listening and don't be hesitate to ask any question. Thank you very much.
I'm going to present the paper on backstepping-based control of maglev system. And here are the contents of the presentation. The first one is magnet levitation is an advanced technology in which an object is suspended in the air with the support of the magnetic field only. It is a non-conductor in this area. This would levitation train system, which is highly affected by unstable behavior. So in order to solve the unstable behavior of the magnet train system, this system proposed a backstepping based control method, which is tuned by a particle swarm optimization algorithm. And here are the objectives of this work. The main objective of this work is in order to design a tracking controller for the magnet train system using the backstepping control strategy. And here are the specific objectives of this research work. And in this research work, the first step is doing or studying the mathematical modeling of the system. And in order to study the mathematical modeling of the system, the electrical subsystem and the mechanical subsystem of the system is studied first. And finally, the following equation will be obtained by studying both the mechanical component and the electrical component of the magnet train system. After that, the next step is we designed the linearized model of the magnet train system. The purpose of linearizing this model is in order to compare our proposed method with that of the linear one, which is the LQR method. We'll discuss in the result and discussion part. Here is our proposed method. Our proposed method is backstepping controller design. It is a nonlinear control strategy that uses Lyapunov procedure, Lyapunov stability criteria, and it is a systematic design which is designed recursively. For the first step in designing our proposed method is mentioning the error of our system. In our case, our aim is to make or to stabilize our train in the air with a limited range of meters. So the first one is our here we have YR represented our reference of the desired position, and Y is the output of our system. And here is and proceeding like this, we will obtain our final equation of our final equation of the designed controller method. When we see here, we have a different parameters which are Y1, Y2, K1, K2, and K3. Here are the proposed controllers methods, which are user defined. In most papers or in previously done papers, these parameters are selected arbitrarily or they don't use any optimization algorithm. So in order to improve this one, this work used another method, which is particle swarm optimization technique, in order to obtain the three parameters of the designed backstepping controller method. And after that, in the procedure of the particle swarm optimization, we need an objective function that are required in order to use the PESO algorithm. So we have selected the integral absolute error and control signal absolute objective function. The reason why the integral absolute error and control signal is selected is that this objective function is used to avoid an excessive control input, and also it is used to disturbance change arbitrarily. Means in our case, we don't need any excessive control input, so which is voltage in our case, so we use the integral absolute error. Here is the proposed controller. Here is a proposed controller using the Pesto algorithm. As I have told you before, our plant is the magnetic levitation train system, and here we have an input, which is the voltage of the system, and here is the proposed controller system, which is backstepping controller, and the designed controller parameters are tuned using the Pesto algorithms. In the Pesto algorithms, we need an objective function. In our case, we select out of the different types of objective functions, such as integral absolute error, integral square error. We use objective function, which is IAE. And the other one is, in order to compare our result of the previous one, we use PI-type LQR controller. And in this way, we need the linearized model. We have seen the linearized model, and we designed the LQR controller for the comparison of our proposed system. Let's see the simulation result of our. Let's see the simulation result of our proposed method. In order to do the simulation, we need the parameters of the train system. For this case, we use the following parameters, which is used in the designed one, and we take 10 millimeter as initial position of the suspension air gap. The reason why we choose 10 millimeter suspension initial position of the air gap is if the gap between the levitation gap between the train and the earth is high, we need more power, or we need more energy. So we have to eliminate all the distance between the train and the ground, or the guideway should be minimum. So we choose 10 millimeter as an initial place. Here are the parameter settings. After tuning using the Pesto, we get for the backstepping controller the following results: K133.542, K2 433, and it is for the LQR controller. We have tried, we have used by trial and error method. In the LQR controller is an optimal controller method that gives us an optimal value. And the first things in this work, we use different reference signal in order to show the performance of our proposed method. And as it is clearly shown, the first thing is we use a single step signal. In the single step signal, we use from when the train moves from 10 millimeter suspension gap to 8 millimeter suspension gap. And as it is given in the graph, in both cases, even in the tracking error and in also the control input, in all cases, our proposed method, which is represented by the black line, is better than that of the reference signal. In order to show you clearly, let's see it in quantitative way. And when we say it in quantitative way, when we see the performance characteristics, which are the overshoot, peak time, rise time, and settling time, and also our objective function IAEU, in all cases, as you have seen, except the overshoot, which is similar for both cases, in all cases, the proposed controller has a minimum, which is the required in control system. We need a minimum of peak time, rise time, and settling time. So the backstep, the proposed method, it's better than that of the LQR in the case of single step. The other one is in the multiple step signal. The case of using the multiple step signal is hence the train is moving in a different types of road. So we use a multiple step signal. If it moves up and down, we shows like this. And similar to that, here also we have the proposed method also leads the LQR controller, as it is clearly shown in the tracking error diagram and in the zoom portion of the tracking error diagram, and also in the proposed method. The other one is in order to show, we have also tested the performance robustness of our proposed system. In order to test the performance robustness, we have used different things. The first one is load change, which is we have changed the mass of the train up to 14% load change. Initially, we have used 700 kilograms, so 14% of 700 kilograms is used in this thesis. And similar to the previous results, the proposed methods also performs better than that of the previous one. The other one is we also use time varying load change. The aim of using the time varying load change is in the case of time varying load change, if in the peak time, there is a lot of persons will enter to the train, and while it is going or when it is not rush hour, there is no person in the train. So we use a different mass change in different times. So at that time, as we have seen in the as it is clearly shown in the Zoom portion, the proposed method is better than that of the LQR controller, which is represented by the red line. Also, the tracking error also supports the idea of that the proposed method is better than that of the LQR controller. Here is the quantitative way description of the when there is time varying load change, as it is clearly shown in all cases. The proposed backstepping controller has shown a better result, which is smaller than that of the comparison controller, which is the LQR controller. The other one is we use an external difference, an external disturbance force. Hence, the train is moving in the air, so hence there is no touch with the ground. There is an external disturbance force which is affecting the train. The first one is the wind disturbance. In order to represent the wind disturbance, we use this type of some random signals, and we add to the system. And when we show the result, the backstepping controller also has better result than that of the proposed, than that of the LQR controller. Here is the tracking error diagrams and also the performance characteristics of the both controller methods. And at the end, in this research work, we have tested if there is both time varying load change and an external disturbance force acting on the maglev train system. In this way, when there is both time varying load change and an external disturbance force, here also the proposed method has shown better results than that of the LQR controller. As you have seen in the graph, the backstepping controller has some overshoot, but it settles better, it settles faster than that of the LQR. Here is the performance characteristics of the system using numerical values. And here, let's see the conclusion of this work. We have designed backstepping controller on the nonlinear model, and also we tuned the backstepping controller using the PESO algorithm. And the result shows that the backstepping controller outperforms the LQR by reducing the peak time, settling time, burst time, and the objective function we have chosen. And also the tracking performance robustness of the system is tested under using load variations up to 14% mass change and time varying load change and sudden external disturbance force, which I've discussed in the previous slide. In the other one is in the 14% load change, the proposed control method gives better result than that of in all performance characteristics measures. In the second one, in the third, in the case of dynamic external disturbance reduction test, even though the LQR controller has slightly higher than that of the LQR controller, it has better response than that of the comparison controller. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can write on the text. Thank you. I have finished.
Well, enough power.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I am Sheikh Rashid Ahmed al-Mamari, student about the master degree about cyber security in the University of Buraimi in Oman. This my papers I talk about the development of the new approach to encrypt the O2B about one-time password for enhance to the security to use bank transactions. Talking about the introductions about the O2B, the meaning O2B about any person know about this is one-time password. When they using any when they buy anything using the banks or using buy anything about this. Talking about the O2B information securities, talking specific about how many the risk you using about disease and solving about the risk O2B. This is about the basic block diagrams, one-time password encrypt methods. You can use the secure about the key and USB about this, and you can using the data digitals. When the everything this is used, you can is going to the your mobile or your application send to the message about O2B, and you can use it the numbers of the O2B, and you can put it any application when they use it about the banks or any application by anything open or everything about this. This is a process about the work. First, I see if how many risk about disease when they use it O2B. Maybe sometimes is when I using the O2B bikes, anything in the website. When they buy anything, you send to me this application about to send me O2B. But sometimes is the O2B is the sharing about my phones outside the screens. You can using any person take it this is and put it in my application. This is more attract about this is now I show you about how can is O2B sorted this is and how can use the process is make it less the risk about this is. This is I talk with the implementation process, the methodology and the implementation action of the security risk. Can this many steps I use it. This is establish about for the security, establish main activities to ensure the securities, define the security is requirements about how can is the quality security use it, and audit and monitoring the security. When they use it, the approach of the risk using the risk limitation, risk transfers. How can is transfer anything about disease and how can is solve the risk about disease and reduce the risk. This is about the step if implement works. This any application, you can open the applications, you can use buy anything. When the login is should be is put it username and password. After that, when the put it username and password, you choose any equipment or choose anything you want to buy this is. After that, you add about the money. When the add the money, direct to send to the O2B. How many the O2B like is for the digital phone numbers about this is you can put it. But sometimes is any person or maybe the children in my homes is using this application because I save the password and save the username about the card, everything. You can buy when they buy it. Maybe I afraid is my children is using this card because I save it in my mobile. When the children is using this is direct is O2B. You can't see the O2B is for the numbers. You can put it UOB. But this is sure is more risk about this is. I make a more idea about this is. Can you encrypt about this is O2B? And you can solve it about this is. You send another code about this is. You can share this is applications is coding about is true or false about using this is, and any O2B code about like anything the numbers should be encrypt. This is O2B. After that, you sure give me the correct number of the O2B. This is I use it about the completed method about disease, use the systems about disease. You can doing the decrypt about the digital about O2B. After that, correct number doing this is and take it the new number correct O2B and put it when buy anything. You did this use this all the methods about disease in the applications. I use it about BHB about applications and solve this all the methods about this. You can use it the new O2B code about this. This is a for chart of the security SDLC uses a requirement, a design, a development, testing about this. You can solve it about the map security using about the threat security design, analysis about the design, application security, all the details put it in there and choose the application, how can reduce the and solve the risk about the O2B. This last things I am talking about this work benefits that is developing encrypted O2B technology about the how can interest of the many stakeholder for the effective secure systems. This is all the things about talking about my papers about how can reduce the effect and the risk of O2B. And last things, thank you about listening to my presentation. Thank you all my present. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hasliza Hassan. My team members are Professor Dr. Muhammad Sabir Rahman and Professor Dr. Abu Bakar Sadeh. This paper is actually a review-based research. The title of our research paper is Preparing Career in Industrial Revolution. Okay. Recently, the normal functions of manpower has drastically changed due to the industrial revolutions. Those routine operations that was handled by employees nowadays have been taken by artificial intelligence robotics. Along with the automations, the sharing economy seems to be continuously expanding, which has also diverted the job market towards the sharing economy. In line with this momentum, the employees have to divert their career based on the surrounding environment. With the wave of industrial revolutions, the future job market is expected to become extremely competitive. However, the Malaysian graduates somehow prefer to be underemployed instead of putting effort to upskill their capabilities, since they believe in gaining working experience is more worth it rather than looking for skills. The terminology of gig economy was previously introduced by an English journalist, Tina Brown, in 2009, which refers to free-floating project, consultancy, and part-time bids. Nowadays, the gig economy is also known as sharing, collaborative, digital, crowd, and peer economy. With the boost from the COVID-19 pandemic, the gig economy is very powerful and has transformed the traditional workforce into digital-based platform. Lately, we can see that there are more and more graduates who have to depend on gig economy to look for job opportunity. Although along the way, the gig economy is also a platform for those people who are interested to earn extra income on part-time basis. Due to high acceptance by the societies, the gig economy has grown substantially. Lately, there are a lot of employees who have perceived working from 9 to 5 as very tiring and unattractive. In addition, the previous working style has forced employees to face heavy traffic congestions to commute to earn for living. Due to the hassle, a lot of employees preferred flexible working hours and working from home. The employees also believe in working smart instead of working hard by providing only minimum contributions instead of giving maximum contributions to the organizations that they are working with. This is because the working hard will not guarantee reasonable compensations from the employer, and there is also no guarantee for promotions as a reward. For some employees, being a freelancer is perceived as new empowerment to shape career development. The industrial revolutions has made people agile in developing career through do it yourself, their own career instead of depending on any particular employer. There are lots of employers prefer to hire freelancers for specials and daily operation tasks. The professional job is normally based on contractual agreement, which can be renewed if the quality of the work meets the expectations of the employer. For daily operation basis, the compensations normally depends on commissions for each task. These freelancers can be considered as gig employees. They have to adapt the current gig economy-based job market to survive. The employees, especially the professionals, are moving towards digital nomad, where they can work from anywhere as long as there is an internet connections. Moving forward, it is expected that there is no such thing as a stable career. This is due to the increasing labor costs, automations, and high costs of living that has continuously changed the job market. In fact, nowadays we can observe there are lots of organizations depending on freelancers instead of permanent employees. Within the next few years to come, it is expected that there is a strong competition among the freelancers to secure job opportunity. In line with this, the employees should have specialized skills and reliable portfolio to find job opportunities. Due to instability of job market, those who have career commitment probably may not necessarily happy with their work. In the future, it is expected that it is not easy to secure job because of high competitions among the gig employees. The company might prefer hiring freelancers as an alternative to reduce operating expenses. This is because most gig employees do not receive similar employment benefit as the permanent employees, such as insurance and retirement benefit. For the gig employees, the income that they earn is very unpredictable because of the inconsistent job opportunity. In addition, to perform a particular task, gigs employees need to have their own tools such as computer, software, or any special tool for them to perform that specific task. The employees also have to continuously upgrade the skills and knowledge to survive. Since the work and lifestyle of the new generations will be more challenging, being an opportunist is the main criteria to survive. To get prepared, the employees should know how to manage their personal income, especially in cash investment to generate passive income. The employees also need to have a good planning in their healthcare and their retirement. Although the challenge is tremendous, those key employees who have strong leadership skills and independence may obtain financial freedom at younger age compared to the previous generations who are earning a secured monthly income. To be in a safe side, the gig employees should have at least 2 different professions and professional skills and less professional tasks to earn for living. It would also be good for the gig employees to have at least partner or team to support each other. Due to insecure job market, we could expect more people will be living in minimalism or frugal lifestyle as a next living trend. So that's my presentations. Thank you.